Yeah, I fell over a little bit.
Sweet.
And I died!
You look very dead right now.
I am. Oh look, I was right, I'm in hell! Guten Tag, Josefe. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm terrible, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah?
I feel terrible, been sleeping terribly.
You look terrible.
I mean,
That's an everyday thing, isn't it?
It is an everyday thing. I've just been sleeping really badly. I woke up snuffly, headachy. I'm not having a good time of it.
Okay, well.
But we are here.
Get on with it anyway, so.
Yeah. So firstly, apologies for lack of content. We have been absolutely ridiculously snowed under here. Barely had time to film anything, let alone edit anything. So we're trying to make a conscious effort to do something. Yep. Today we are on the dyno with a 2018 Jag XF250, which is a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol turbo, 250 horsepower book for a stage 1 tune.
Sweet. So, 250 brake, yeah?
Yeah, that's what it books at.
Okay, so that's quite a lot of 4-cylinder really, isn't it? For this kind of size car.
Yeah.
You'd expect a Jag to have a 6-banger or something in it. But that is irrelevant.
Yes.
So what is the plan then? We're gonna do a run?
Yeah, pretty much do a run. Obviously read the ECU, build a tune for it. Just do the normal, ping it on, do some runs, get some data, adjust as needed.
Awesome.
That is kind of the plan.
Okay, cool. Through. Well, if we then do a stock run and see what we do then.
Yeah, we'll get a couple of passes down and see where we're at.
Well, yes, that's not great, is it?
No, it's not ideal. I've already forgotten.
So we're down, what, 18 brake from stock?
Yeah, so it did 232, 329 newton meters. These book at 250, 365 newton meters. So the only thing I could really see in the data that really stands out, obviously because it is stock tune, the intake temperatures are shocking. I mean, we hit 44 degrees by the end of it. Ambient is like 7.5 degrees. So,
okay.
Considering these only runs like 0.9 bar, 1 bar of boost, like it's
not good.
It is not good.
So that might explain the lack of top end power, though.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not uncommon for a car to not produce what it's claimed to produce anyway. Just throw that out there.
I mean,
but
to be fair, we have had this. I mean, we covered this in a previous video. We have had some cars start strong and not end so strong. We've had cars start weak and end really strong. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we see that makes overbook, and then equally there's some stuff we see that makes under it as well.
Yeah.
So,
regardless, we've got a starting point.
Yeah.
Haven't we? So
yeah. So we're just going to do some
tuning, Bear.
Yeah, do some tuning, see what happens.
Okay.
And
well, I guess all we can do is run it, see what it does, and come back.
Yes, do that.
Do that. Do this like a Buddhist.
ever have those days where you wish you never got out of bed?
Every day.
Where you feel suicidal?
Every day. I want to be in bed suicidal now.
Suicidal in bed?
Yeah.
We could do that.
Being in bed will stop me being suicidal.
So basically flashed the bass tune in, the flash completed with an error twice. Then tried flashing back to stock to recover it. So I've then had to take a load of the front end apart to basically do a bench read, reconstruct the flash memory of the ECU and flash it back in. Which, to be honest with how I feel, is not right what I wanted today. But that's done, the car's now running. We've done a couple of passes, made 249 horsepower, so very little gain top end, 447 newton meters.
Massive gain.
We'll put a graph on screen there. But yeah, it comes in really strong, makes ridiculous gains, both horsepower and torque, and then kind of starts to fall away to the point where it's not making loads more up top. Issues at the minute, we've got high EGTs and intake temps are even higher than they were. So,
well, that stands to reason. Kind of expected that you increase boost, you increase heat, you increase intake temps.
You got it. So, and to be fair, the intake temps were shocking to start with, so they're not going to get much better with more boost.
How high are they now?
51-ish.
51.
Yeah.
So we've gone up nearly 10 degrees on top of that.
And
EGTs, you said.
and ambient on that pass was 7 degrees. So the ambient.
So it's actually slightly cooler.
Yeah.
How bad are the EGTs?
Like 900 degrees. Bad.
And where do you want them to be?
A lot less than 900 degrees.
Like 5?
It varies so much. I mean,
I was taking the Mickey 5 degrees. Like I'm asking for a kind of
like
semi-specific.
657.
Right. Okay. So
obviously lower if possible.
about 30% lower than what they are now as a minimum.
Like don't get me wrong. I mean, normally by 900 degrees you're pushing your luck. It really depends who you speak to. Obviously, the lower the EGTs, the better is the realistic one.
Yeah. So for people not in the know out there, 1,000 degree EGTs.
It's very hot.
I mean, everyone knows that 1,000 degrees is hot. That is Fahrenheit though, isn't it? Or is that Celsius?
No, it's Celsius.
That's Celsius,
It's
right?
very,
Okay.
very
What's going to happen if you leave it like that?
Things are going to melt.
What's going to melt first?
Well, anything in the exhaust line. So damage your turbo, damage your cats, if you've got them, which this has. But yeah, it's going to be a very bad situation for everybody.
So that is why you don't just send it.
Yeah. But the thing is, it'll also cost you power because obviously you have EGT sensors monitoring this. You'll have component protection enabled on the ECU. So when it hits a certain threshold, it will then start
pulling
power away to try and make it safe.
Same as what it does for IATs, pulling time in effectively, yeah?
Yeah. It's exactly the same thing, like IAT compensation, CLT compensation, whatever. So
what is the correlation, if any, between high intake temperatures and high GTs? Because naturally you'd expect if you've got high temperatures one side to be producing high temperatures the other.
Not always, and that's the thing. So we had an M140i, which when it came in was an unknown tune to us. Obviously, subsequently found out who tuned it. It was on a pure 800 hybrid, all the kind of normal stuff, and that was hitting like over 1,000 degrees EGT. But intake temps were pretty normal. Obviously, they're charge-cooled engine, but it was. Don't get me wrong, it could have been a little cooler, but it wasn't like horrendously. It wasn't like horrendously out of the way. So sometimes there can be correlation, but I wouldn't say. I mean, like I said, I could be.
It's not a rule of thumb, though.
No, I could be completely way off base, and anyone feel free to tell me if I am. But it's not a correlation I've seen a lot because I've seen a lot.
I think I know it's not a definitive correlation where if you've got high IATs, you're going to have high EGTs and vice versa. There's no doubt going to be some kind of correlation because heat one end will translate to heat somewhere else, won't it?
Of course it will, yeah. But yeah, so our aim at the minute is just to kind of work out that situation, get that under control. And yeah, that's kind of where we are. I mean, it's a bit of a shame that there are issues because obviously with how strong it was coming in, it looked like it was going to
make some really good power.
I mean, it's made ridiculous gains, sort of low and into the mid-range.
Yeah,
and then it's kind of started to come away, obviously, as it's got hotter, which is understandable.
In all fairness, in the everyday stuff, driving area, that's where all them gains are. So it's going to feel much quicker, but top end, there's definitely more to be had.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these normally do another 30 horsepower, don't they?
Well, I've spoken to the customer and he is interested in a cooler if that does become an issue. So that might resolve one issue, one side.
Yeah, these normally do, 20, 30 horsepower over stock?
Yeah, about 265, 275 roughly. I mean, if you sat somewhere in between those two figures, you'd be happy. But do they?
Yeah,
Do you know what I
of course.
mean? This is the first one I think we've worked on.
This is,
and you've only got what people say online to base it off of.
Yeah, and it came in 18 horsepower low, so
Yeah.
so we're kind of. I mean, we're 17 horsepower up.
Yeah.
Nearly 18 horsepower from where
I
we
mean,
started. So we're
in the
nearly-
real world, it would probably be a bit decent more powerful than this because they have real world air, but
Yeah.
it's got to be safe before it leaves here, hasn't it? So unfortunately, it
course.
looks like we're going to have to try and pull some power back out, doesn't it?
Yeah, we can. We'll work.
Meh. Okay, well let's do that then.
Yeah, we'll dig into that and see where we end up.
That is a lot of torque to gain.
It is.
A lot in the mid-range. I'm assuming, judging by the power lacking situation up top, obviously IoT issues still ongoing.
57 degrees.
So it's even getting even worse as day goes on,
Yeah.
which is to be expected if it's being run after run. So what do we do?
251.
1.6. About 460 Newton metric, so that is flipping huge. I was going to do a swear word.
Yeah, and considering it only pulled, 332, I think, stock, and they're meant to be 365, that's done a lot of torque.
Oh yeah, so it's like plus 130 Newton meters. I mean, we usually would quote plus 75. I know if it started stock, but even that we've shot past what we would usually quote anyway.
Yeah.
And power-wise?
Up top, we're basically, I mean, we quote like 20 horsepower on these.
Yeah.
So, which I think we've done 19.
Yeah, from where it ran, not 19 from stock,
from
but
where it ran,
we gained plus. We quote plus 20, plus 75, and we've got plus 19, plus 130. So
Not too shabby.
It's not too shabby. I'd still be happy with that as a result.
Yeah, I just think these are a bit inefficient with heat management. Because even stock, like EGT's stock in this are like 750 degrees, it's hot.
Yeah, that is
and
quite
then
warm.
IATs, you're talking 44 degrees. And
Okay.
doesn't seem particularly good.
No, that's not particularly good, is it? I mean, we've tuned vehicles that have then set about changing upgrades to reduce temperatures from that kind of area.
Yeah.
You know, so on a stage one, you wouldn't necessarily expect to see it pushing quite that hard, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it depends. But I mean, the point I was getting to, I mean, I've seen it on a lot of stage one stuff, but it's more the stock. You don't expect it to be that terrible on stock. It's normally when you start ramping the boost up a bit is when they get bad. But this started out pretty poor, and it's only what 5 years old this year. It's only done 18,000 miles.
It's
not
hella clean.
Yeah, but it's only done 18k. It's not a high mileage car.
No.
So yeah, but
Well, then power figures are a law of averages, I guess, but they're also not measured in a car, are they? They're measured on a crank dyno.
pass.
Yeah. All factory power figures are based off a crank dyno.
What, as in an engine dyno?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Didn't actually know that.
Every single one of them there. Cool. Okay, so EGT is now under control.
Yep.
Intake temperatures are what they are.
Yep.
Are you happy to sign it off?
Yeah. We'll be on to the next one, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But no, it should be good. I'm looking forward to test driving it, to be fair. It should be...
I mean, it's going to be noticeably quicker. Like, the gains in the mid-range, in the driving area, are astronomical compared to what it was. So, yeah, it should still be a very drivable car. And for all intents and purposes, I doubt the customer's going to notice like a 15, 20 brake up over what it was stock, because it has got that over what it was stock, hasn't it? So,
yeah.
awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, on to the next one, I guess.
Yeah, on to the next one.
Cool, done. See you later, bye.